Hey y'all, I'm Emily and welcome back to Bama Base, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. I'm just doing some kitchen tasks today, and I did notice when I was making dinner a few days ago that I am running very low on my canned chicken broth and even my bone broth. So I need to restock because that is like a good staple with all my cooking. So the hubby and I went to Sam's Club just a few days ago, and we picked up a few of their rotisserie chickens, and that is pretty much what I use to make my chicken broth. Um, Other than when we fry up our Thanksgiving turkey, so I do also can that. Um, but I just want to bring y'all along and show you how I make my canned chicken broth, and yeah, I'm gonna get this going, and then we'll pressure can it later. So, in the past, I have used those big roaster ovens that you can see around the Thanksgiving holiday time. So, I can put several chicken carcasses in there at one point to do a huge mass batch of chicken broth. But I only have one carcass right now, so I'm going to use my Ninja Foodie Possible for this batch. Um, but in the future, y'all might see me make chicken broth in that big, massive roaster pan that I have. But today, Ninja Foodie Possible is going to be used. So I'm going to just take the, oh goodness, the chicken carcass that my husband deboned for me. He got the meat off, but there's still plenty of flavor in there from the skin. Still some meat that he missed on there, but it's just gonna add to it. So I'm gonna put this in the Ninja Foodie Possible. But again, any good pot will work. So that's going in. And then I'm gonna fill this with a whole bunch of water close to the top. And then I will slow cook this for about 8 to 12 hours. All right, so turning on to slow cook. And put it on low. And then hit start. Alrighty, so this is just going to do its thing for several hours. Now with your chicken broth, if you don't like it cloudy, the lower the temp that you can get it is better, because the higher the temp you bring your pot up to, it makes it cloudy and not as visually appealing, okay? If that doesn't bother you, let this sucker go. It personally does not bother me whether it's cloudy or clear, because it tastes the same to me. So, but today I will be cooking it on low and just let it do its thing. But just keep that in mind. If you are aiming for clear broth, shoot for a lower temp. All right, y'all, so we are back. It's been over 24 hours. It's the next evening, and I want to wrap up this project. So I'm just going to take the bones and everything that's left in my pot. I'm just going to strain it out and then get to pressure canning this chicken broth. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so I just have a bowl right here, and I'm just going to also take this sieve or strainer, whatever you want to call this thing, to get all the bones out. This broth has been going in the Ninja Foodie Possible for well over 24 hours. And it was just doing its thing on low and making wonderful chicken broth. It's been going so long that most of these bones are like soft now, which is really what you want, because that's where all the good nutrients are. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside. All right, so now I have the OXO brand fat separator. Um, you can the fat in with your chicken broth. It won't hurt it. It just doesn't look pretty in the jar, and it's not really an extra step for me to just separate the fat because this helps me pour it into my jar anyway. And I do have the strainer in it just to catch any bits and pieces I may have missed. And then as far as the canning setup goes, let me push this back. I can turn that off now. I have all my jars sitting on just an old pan because this can get messy and I'm notorious for making a mess. So if there's any spillage, it's going to go on the pan and not all over my counters and on my floor or myself. So then I just have my funnel there, and we're just going to get to canning this chicken broth. I think it would be easier if I take the pot out. And get this out of the way. Now this is warm broth, and my jars did just come out of my dishwasher, so they're still fairly warm as well. You just want to be mindful of shocking your glass. You don't want to put hot liquid into cold glass and it burst on you. So I'm going to use my electric pressure canner today. It's the Nesco brand. Y'all, it's a game changer when it comes to canning any type of broth or vegetables or meats. Anything you want to pressure can, y'all, I love this thing. Saves me so much time. I do have the good old Presto stainless steel canner, and that's truly a workhorse. I love that one too. But when you don't have a lot of time and you don't want to like babysit your canner, go with the electric pressure canner because it takes the guesswork out of it. You can just set the timers, load it, shut your lid, and walk away. So I do have the canning bottom in it because you don't want to put your jars directly onto the bottom. You want some separation there. All right, so I'm ready to start pouring this into my jars. The chicken broth looks amazing. It smells good too. When I get below this line here, I just add more broth so the fat stays on top. So I'm going to fill up each of my jars all the way to the top, but I'm going to leave 1 inch of headspace. I'm going to get every last drop out of this pot because it is some very good healthy broth. And you know, when you have your systems in place, the whole canning process it doesn't really seem as daunting. This is actually a work night, and I came home, we cooked dinner, ate, I cleaned up the kitchen, and now I'm just gonna pressure can these before I go to bed. All right, gonna clean up my mess real quick. Could have been a lot worse. Just a little bit dripped on the counter. All right, y'all, so now we need to wipe our rims with just some vinegar. And I picked up this bottle from the Dollar Tree. It's actually like acetone fingernail polish remover, but it works perfect for canning. So I'm just going to take my paper towel, flip it over, and then just push it down, and it gets the vinegar on the paper towel. So I'm just going to wipe my rings. And as I'm wiping the rims, I'm feeling for any nicks, cracks, anything like that. Also just getting all the debris off. Alrighty. Now today I'm going to use the ball canning lids. Put one on each jar. And then take your rings, put it on your jar, and then screw it tight and then finger tight. Like, don't pry it, just as tight as your fingers will allow it. But be careful because your jars are pretty hot. All right, so first jar is going in the Nesco pressure canner. And y'all, if you come across a ring that just doesn't want to go onto your jar, don't force it, just get another ring. If you're going to force a ring on your jar, there's a chance that you might have a bad seal. Alrighty, so the Nesco electric pressure canner will hold 4 quarts. My Presto like stovetop canner will hold more, but I don't want to get that out of the garage and wash it and clean it up right now. That's for the massive project of canning that I'll do later on. But for just this small batch, Nesco electric pressure canner for the win. So this will probably take me 2 to 3 rounds. It takes this about 20 minutes to get up to pressure, but you're only going to pressure can your chicken broth in the Nesco electric pressure canner for 15. So I don't want to lead you astray, especially with pressure canning, because canning is a science. Okay, so um, I love technology. I love that we have this to use, and it takes the guesswork out of it. But for clarity, I'm going to read you the instructions from the manual. So it says that we need to add enough water into the pot to cover at least 1/3 of the jars. So I'm just going to get some good old tap water and start pouring it in. And I am using warm to, well, somewhat hot water, again, because I don't want to shock my glass. I think one more will do. There we go. So I'm going to shut the lid and then twist it to lock it. So I'm going to set my canner. Let me turn it off. So I'm going to set my canner for 15 minutes. So the first thing we do is we hit the pressure cook button, hit high, and set our timer for 15 minutes. And then hit start. Also want to make sure that the vent up here is set to exhaust. And so once the canner reaches pressure, you'll have all that steam coming out. It will beep at you, and then all you have to do is turn your knob up here to airtight, and then it will begin the canning process. I also want to mention that if you want to use your stovetop pressure canner, that's perfectly fine too, because I often use that one as well. But I wanted to show you that the directions in the Ball Complete Book of Home Preservation says to pressure can broth for, let me see. All right, so you're going to pressure can pints for 20 and quarts for 25. All right, so the Nesco pressure canner has come up to, well, it's venting, y'all. It already beeped at me, and it's going to vent for 10 minutes. There is a countdown. It's been a few minutes, so it has 5 more minutes to go. Once it finishes venting for 10 minutes, it will beep at me one more time, and that is when I turn the valve to airtight. Hey y'all, so it is the next morning. I'm about to head to work, but I just wanted to show you my last batch of broth that I have in my Nesco electric pressure canner and just show you what it looks like. And it was so easy. I loaded the pressure canner right before I went to bed, my last batch, and literally went to bed. It did it on its own. I love this thing. So of course it has completely cooled off to 0 pressure, pull to the touch. Still pretty warm in there. So I'm just gonna take these and pull them out. Look at that, y'all. Beautiful chicken broth. And it was so easy. All right, so I got 6 quarts using my Ninja Foodie Possible to make the broth. And then I have 5 other quarts that I used just in my regular, just a regular pot. But I think 6 quarts from the Ninja Foodie Possible, and that thing is pretty much you use it and forget it too. So yeah, super easy, super convenient. Love this thing. And now I'm so happy to have more chicken broth going onto my pantry shelf. So again, this is Emily from Bama Based, where I find peace in my garden and joy in my kitchen. I hope y'all give this a try and tell me what you think. So if y'all could, give this video a like, a thumbs up, subscribe for me, help me grow the channel. And until next time, y'all, bye.